not later. Right now. I don't know if y'all know it, but we're going to win. I don't know if you feel it, but we're going to win. I don't know
What's up, everybody? This is Prime Sports Media. You see him up there right now. That is Shiloh Sanders. I just want to pay a little respect to the brother because it was reported, before I get into the main meat and potatoes of this video, the matchup between Colorado and USC Southern Cal, and break down the numbers, give you a comprehensive report here, what Colorado needs to do to be successful, what they got to watch out for, what are some of the weaknesses and strengths of this USC team. Before I get in that, we need to pay some respect to Shiloh Sanders because of what happened to him after playing in that game against Oregon. It was a tough game, a very difficult loss. I hate that they lost the game, but there was something that we can all learn from the loss, which is when things get tough, are you going to stick it out? Coach Prime has learned something about some of his players on that team, that they were willing to still play hard and tough it out. In that game, Shiloh Sanders got about what? He got 7 tackles. Okay, the man has 21 solo tackles and has forced fumbles and picked 6 interceptions so far this season, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what was reported. It was reported that Shiloh was on the plane, and I guess he went to the restroom and peed, or he saw blood in his pee. He was peeing out blood, unfortunately. And they got him to a medical center as soon as possible when they touched down in Boulder. This was reported by Sanders Jr. and his brother. And they're saying now that he is doing better because you got to be, that's a very serious thing when that happens, because you could very well have internal bleeding. And as much as we need Shiloh out there as one of our top guns in the secondary against this really vaunted USC offense and this team, health is always important. The same way that is important, it was important, and it is important for Travis Hunter, who you all know put out a declaration to Coach Prime and the team that he wanted to play and was not going to take no for an answer. But Coach Prime said, no, you're going to sit down. We're going to make sure you're healthy. Same thing for Shiloh. As much as I'm sure Coach Prime has already said it, that he really wants Shiloh out there to be able to play this Saturday. But I'm sure not only as a coach, but as a father, he definitely wants to make sure that he makes all the right decisions given the medical ramifications if there's something more serious to this than we actually know. So let's just keep that in mind. I want to appreciate everybody out there that's listening. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you have subscribed, hit the bell notification. If you're new here, we're at 24,000 subscribers and still going strong. And I want to get at it right now. This is, once again, this is about the matchup between USC and Colorado Buffs, okay? The Trojans against the Buffs. And I really want to break a few things down here. Right now, let me give you the numbers. There's a lot that Colorado has got to clean up, and Coach Prime has talked about this in his recent press conference, and I'm going to give you some video footage of that. But right now, Deion Sanders is still a top-notch quarterback in the country, and he's still in the Heisman race. He's got about 1,410 yards in total yards passing, okay? I'm bringing this up for key reasons. The reason why he was able to get this great start, because in TCU, he put up 510 points because the offensive line did a better job of protecting him, and he did a better job of getting the ball out. Deion Sanders has said himself, okay, as much as we have been jumping on the offensive line and all the problems that we see there, Shedeur has also admitted that he's holding on to the ball way too long. So I suspect against USC, you're going to see them getting that ball out there a lot faster and quicker for a lot of reasons that I'm going to get into. Another area that we have to remember is that Dylan Edwards has 157 yards in total rushing on this team. He did that against TCU because why? They were passing the ball on the outside, which opened up the running game. The running game was open. Everything was opening up because on that day, the offensive line played a hell of a lot better than they have been recently playing. And this is the area that we had to look at. Dylan Edward has to be involved heavily because of his speed and his ability to create a lot of problems for USC on the outside. And I will let you know why he can create those problems and what are the glaring weaknesses in their defense. Okay. Now, this is the problem. Xavier Weaver has been he's been an all-star. He's got 461 yards receiving, right? They've got to get him involved, and we're going to get into that too. This is the glaring problem. Colorado defense has allowed 35 points in three of its 4 games. That's a problem. That's a problem that has to be fixed. Now, let's get into further details. Colorado, when it comes to rushing yards per game, is ranked 259th in the country. That's not very good. This is why teams have been able to run on them. This is why Oregon had success. Okay. Overall, what is the average percentage that they're running the ball? They're running the ball at 55.8 on the average. That is not good at all. Passing yards per down, this is where Colorado has the strength and I think could be a strength against USC in their secondary. They rank in passing yards per game 6th in the country with 353-point average. Okay, total yards per game, they're averaging 80. They're 82, ranked 82 in the country, and 409 on average. Points for average is about 225. They're ranked in the nation. They're 130 on average. Okay, now that is the statistics that do. Some of those statistics look good, such as the passing yards per game, but the rest of the statistics really are not that great. They've got to fix these problems against USC, and they got to fix them right now. I'm Coach Prime and the coaches there. I know that they've been drilling this all week, preparing for this game. Coach Prime said he has to prepare better. The coaches have to prepare better because they got out-coached and they got beat really bad by Oregon. Okay, so these are the areas that we need to be concerned of when it comes to Colorado's offense and its lack of efficiency in certain areas. But their biggest efficiency is in their ability to pass the ball and get the ball to their top skill players. And that's where they're going to have some advantages. But let me let you hear a video from Coach Prime right now explaining the whole idea that they've got to, because this is the thing. And he has said it, Deion Sanders can do a lot of great work against USC if he's upright. He's going against Caleb Williams, who is a top-notch quarterback who, just like Shedeur, has this ability where he runs to throw the ball, not necessarily run because he's just running, but he's able to create plays when there's nothing there out of thin air some of the time. They're going against a very, very skilled Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a guy who people feel will be a #1 pick in the draft. And there's already buzz out there right now that people are saying that they believe that Shedeur as well as Caleb Williams look like both of these guys could be high round picks. Okay. So, but this is the thing. This man makes a lot of things happen, and he has an offensive line that's keeping him upright, which is what Shedeur needs Colorado to do for him this upcoming weekend. It has to happen, and it has to happen now, because this is urgency. Because I think when you get beat the way they did against Oregon, you need to come out and play strong against a team like this to keep your confidence up, keep you going, keep you steady. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this as I always do. This is about fair use when you're dealing with copyright material. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion picture, videos, tapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news, reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe the copyright under 17 USC 107. With that said, let's hear what Coach Prime had to say about what he's got to do with this offense. Let's go.
Right now, I don't know about one-dimensional. We got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. Not only that, we got to implement short, intermediate, as well as the deep passing game as well. But the main thing, you got to protect your quarterback. I don't care who you are. You got to protect your quarterback.
As he said, they need to run the ball, run short, intermediate passes, and go deep. What is the reason why they need to go deep? Let's look at this. USC coach Lincoln Riley, he took over a USC team that was having a lot of problems, just like Coach Prime. And he utilized the transfer portal. He utilized all the opportunities that the first-year coaches have to rebuild their football teams. Of course, he didn't take the type of criticism that Coach Prime did when using the transfer portal in the way that he did, but he utilized bringing in guys, transfers to change the team, because USC had some problems with their defense just a year ago. Let me tell you what they were ranked at in 2022. We're talking about USC, a team with Caleb Williams, a team that's got some problems, got some players, but had problems a year ago. In 2022, USC was ranked number 3 in total offense. Offense was great, but it was the defense that was the question. 41.1 points per game, which was ranked 5th. Okay. Now, the problem with their defense a year ago is that USC had 156 total missed tackles a year ago. What am I saying? Colorado is playing against a team that had 156 total missed tackles just a year ago, which ranked them at 120 nationally. Okay, the Trojans ranked number 124 in a how can I say this? In yards per play. Okay. Now, when it came to points allowed, they were ranked 112 in points allowed, which put them in the national, but put them at 409 in the nation. So this is a team, USC was a team a year ago that gave up a lot of points to opponents because they were having a hard time tackling. Okay, this is why USC brought in guys from the transfer portal, like this man right here, who you see on the screen, number 90, who is Bear Alexander, who came from Georgia. So they beefed up the defense to really impact the quarterback at the defensive line. USC right now, the strength of their defense is not their secondary. It's very similar to Oregon. The strength of their defense is their defensive line. And they brought this man on board to guarantee that there's going to be some pressure coming up that middle. They also went out and got a young man who I believe he's a freshman. This is a linebacker, middle inside linebacker. And that is Curtis. I'm bringing this up because these are the key players that Colorado is going to have to be aware that's out there defensively that they brought in to shore up that defense in terms of better tackling, better command of what's happening in front of them defensively. Another of their players that I gotta say right now, Colorado has got to know where this man is on the field, and that's Bullock. This guy is this is Kalen Bullock, who is a number 7. He is a strong safety, and he can make some things happen out there. They're going to have to definitely key on him. This is something that Colorado's going to have to watch out for, because the kid can tackle. He can hit you. He can make some things happen. That's what they have on the defensive front that Colorado's going to have to be concerned with.
Information is
This
power.
is the information for power and what you need. Let's hear from right now. This is fair use for the purpose of education. Let's hear from Jawan Mitchell, who is the middle linebacker for Colorado, who's been having a great season so far, getting a lot of tackles. He's really what you would call one of the definitely one of our top stories on this team defensively. And let's hear what he has to say about what they're doing to prepare for USC, what they got to clean up. And this is fair use for the purpose of education, news reporting, critical analysis, and sports analysis. And here he goes right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Over the other camera. It's been a little up and down for the defense all season. A little bit of a rough outing, obviously, at Oregon. How have you guys gone about the business of, trying to shake that off? Obviously, another huge challenge this week.
Everybody waited for us to respond, so we don't got time for a pity party, things of that sort. So we right back to work, right back where we started. You know what I'm saying? Nobody expected us to be 3-0. People expect us to win. So we gave people what they wanted this game, man. It's time to get back to work and just focus on what's in the locker room.
Hey, Juwan. Good morning. Patrick Dawson, Shiloh Sports. After a pretty big loss to a top 10 team, you're coming up against another big team the very next week. How do you stay focused and try not get too overwhelmed by the stature of the two teams that you've just played and the team you're going to play? How does that not overwhelm you across the week of practice?
It's college football. It's any given Saturday. Anything can happen. You see USC play Arizona State, so they're vulnerable. And I'm sure Lincoln telling them boys they got to step it up this week too. So it's pretty much who's going to come to work, be the most prepared day in and day out, and leading up to Saturday. We can't just flip the switch. We got to prepare.
Hi, Rylan Scholes, Ralphie Report. We saw that video yesterday of Coach Prime reading the text from Travis Hunter saying that he wanted to come back and he wasn't going to take no for an answer. Did that fire you guys up as a team, and do you feel extra motivated because of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, we all in this together. I'm sure that loss hurt Travis just as much. Him sitting at home, even when he in the building, he just all in. Everybody's all in, and we're gonna take our wounds and we're gonna take our wins the same way.
Hey, Juwan. Troy Finnegan, CU Sports Report. As you guys look at the film from last week and turn your attention to another talented offense, was there a single point of emphasis for you guys as a defense for something that you guys need to improve upon?
After the game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything. They out-executed us. They came out-executed us. It's not all on the coaches. We the ones playing. We get the call. Everybody got to be on the same page. We got to all be in the same spot. Everybody got to do their 111th and just play ball. That's it. They're just a logo. It's just, it's just another team. So.
As he said, it was just another logo, another team that they had to play against last week. There's a lot that they can learn from that loss, and a lot that they can still build on. The season is not over. Season is still young. So can they? This is the question everyone's going to say right now. Well, because they got beat by Oregon, there's no way that they can beat USC. USC's got a top-notch quarterback, and Caleb Williams, who you see right here, and that this man cannot be beat. But let's keep this in mind. Colorado still has Shiloh Sanders. And as long as they give him protection and get the ball out of his hands quickly, he can compete. I'm going to tell you why he can compete against this USC team. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Tell the truth.
Because USC, as of right now, I told you about their stats were last year where they had a lot of problems tackling. They still got that problem in their secondary, even though they've got Bullock, number 7, who you definitely want to know where this man is. I want to put him back up here again. You definitely want to know where this man is at all times, and they're going to have to be aware of where he is on that field. But one of the problems in their secondary, which is a problem for this team, is their ability to tackle in space. USC weakness is their ability to tackle their opponents in space in their secondary. Why is that important? Because as I said to you earlier, Colorado ranks 6th in their passing yards per game, meaning Colorado has got to employ their wide receivers, you know, a Jimmy Horn, a Xavier Weaver, Dotson. They got the other brother who's come on board who was out. I believe he was out because of injury. But this is the guy right here, Antonio, who played a little bit in that Oregon game. He's the bigger wide receiver. I'm glad that he's on board so that he can definitely be another big target for Shedeur. Let's not forget that Michael Harrison has been waking up and playing good football, even made the only touchdown against Oregon. Get him involved, get him in the open. Get these guys moving in the open. These two guys, Jimmy and Weaver, have got to get out there to the flats. Get those deep routes going, as Coach Prime said. Get the ball deep, run those crossing routes, because you give Shedeur time, he can get the ball to these guys, because USC's glaring weakness, ladies and gentlemen, is their secondary's ability to make tackles in space. That happens to be one of the glaring weaknesses on this USC team, which is a strength for Colorado. If they can give Shedeur time, let these guys operate on the outside, spread USC out, make that secondary play in space, they got a chance. This is the one problem that they're going to be up against. And the offensive line, oh my God, they're going to have to step up. It's the same problem in the Oregon game. One of the strengths of this USC team, as I put Bear Alexander up here, the transfer from, they rebuilt their defensive line with bringing in guys as transfers. Bear Alexander came from Georgia, as I said before. Number 51, the defensive end that they're going to have to watch out for, is Solomon Byrd. Number 51, Solomon Byrd. I talked about Curtis not too long ago. The linebacker, young linebacker. He roams all over the place out there. And of course, Bullet. They got to be concerned about him. But if they give, and he's in the secondary, but the secondary has problems with tackling in space, as I said. Now, if they give Shedeur the time that he needs to operate, he can break this USC team down. Remember, they played Arizona. Now, they beat Arizona, but it was a nick and tough game. And in the game, it was the Arizona game that USC armor, their chink in their armor was shown in their secondary, particularly. And I believe Colorado has a more explosive receiving core, a duo of core of receivers, than what Arizona had. I think that that's the passport to winning this game. That passport has to go through Shedeur. Shedeur is going to need the time that he needs to make things happen the way we know he can act, because he's going up against another top-notch guy in Caleb Williams, who's been, I got to be honest, he's been a sensational quarterback for USC. He's a guy that creates something when nothing is there. He improvises, which is why Colorado is going to have to match the intensity with Shedeur getting that ball out to his receivers, making something glorious happen. Okay? Get it out there. You got Dotson right here. Get it out to him. Make things happen. There you got Jimmy Horn running right there. These are the guys. These receivers are the almighty key. There go Weaver right there. They are the almighty key to them winning this game against USC. The running game is not where we need it to be. This is another thing that I want to employ to everybody. Remember I talked about, let me put him up here, the young Dylan Edwards. What did Dylan Edwards do against TCU that was sensational? They got him out in the flats. They got him out in space. This young man is not a in between the tackles runner. He's not a physical running back. He's more finesse, speed, get the ball in his hand in space, line him up like a wide receiver, run screens. I think they need to run a lot of screens and hitchbacks and screens against this USC team. Create plays in which you test that secondary to tackle in space, which that is their weakness, ladies and gentlemen. So you need Dylan Edwards. They need to repeat what they did with Dylan Edwards in the TCU game by getting him in space, get the ball in his hand, and let him utilize his speed that God blessed him with.
Tell the truth.
That's part of my analysis here. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with my analysis so far of what they got to do. They're going up against another team like Oregon that has a good defensive line. That's the strength of USC. Their weakness, the secondary. The key, Shador's got to be upright. What are they going to do? This offensive line has not been the best, but however, Shador says he's got to get rid of the ball.
Information is power.
Information is power, folks. So I would say that you're going to see Colorado with Shador this weekend. You're going to see Shador hold on the ball less, get that ball out, run quick slant routes, deep routes, get the ball out there, test that secondary, and get it out of his hands so that Shador won't have to deal with being sacked and under harassment and what have you, and throwing off balance as you see on this picture because the defender's grabbing his leg there, right? We want him upright, making plays just like this, where we don't have to worry about the harassment that comes his way out of the situation. Now, we got to be honest about something right now. One of the reasons why I believe Shador is getting sacked as much, I think he's the most sacked quarterback in college football with 22 sacks to date, is because they don't have a balanced running game. And you have to have a balanced running game in order to put this whole thing together. Let me let you hear what Coach Prime had to say about, he was asked a question about, now he said earlier in the press conference that they got to run the ball more and better, but he also flipped it back to saying that, well, one of the things we got to do before we can have an effective running game is that we've got to create a running game. We got to cook it up right in the kitchen. And if we don't have it cooked up right in the kitchen, the right personnel, the right methodology, then it ain't going to work out. Let's hear what he had to say. This is fair use for the purpose of criticism, news reporting. This is fair use under 107. Let's go here.
Do you feel like you guys need to be a little bit more committed to establishing the run game than you have been to this point with the backs you guys have?
That's just like asking your wife, are you committed to a good meal every night and she can't cook? We got to be able to cook the meal, right? Before we can commit to it, okay? We got to be able to cook the running game before we commit to it. That was good. It actually was a good one. That was fun.
Okay. I hear what Coach Prime is saying there. I respect the brother, the coach. But at the end of the day, you have to have a balanced running game to take pressure off your quarterback so that you're not a one-dimensional team. He was asked that before in the earlier clip that I showed you, are you a one-dimensional team? And he did admit that they've got to run the ball. But I think what it is that Coach Prime is looking for someone that's going to show him that they can run the ball. But he's also looking for the offensive line. See, if the offensive line is not playing well, they can't open up holes. And if there's no holes there, it doesn't matter who you have running the ball in the backfield. it's not going to be effective. However, this is the thing that I think will be interesting. They've got my man Alton Casco. He is back to play. So here he is with Shedeur. He's a bigger back. He's the guy that can run in between those tackles. He's a guy that can also catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run outside, inside out. Very balanced back. This is the guy that they got from Houston that was a transfer, came off of an injury, and I'm hoping that we'll see a lot of him out there. Let's not forget this gentleman right here, Hankerson. He's the young man that played on the 1 and 11 team. He's a little bit more physical back as well, can run in between the tackles. They got to get these guys moving and get this running game going. I want to see Cavassier smoke. We saw a little bit of him in the Oregon game, but not much. Get him involved. Get these guys involved. Rotate these backs. Get them involved. And as I said before, you need Dylan to be the guy that's your spark plug. You get him in space, have him catch the ball out of the backfield. This is what's going to be effective against this USC team, everybody. I'm telling you the truth. Okay? Now, with that said, the defensive line for Colorado has got to figure out a way. I know Jordan Dominique has gotten a few sacks, has put a few pressures on, okay? But they've got to get more activity out of their defensive line, because if they don't, I'm afraid that Caleb Williams is going to have he's going to have all day to do what he want to do, just the way Bo Nix did. That concerns me. He's talented. We have to recognize that we're not going up against a guy who is a pushover. And this is what Coach Prime had to also say about Caleb Williams. He has a lot of respect for the young man. And this is called fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay, everybody, for criticism, news reporting, analysis, here is Coach Prime.
Hey, Coach, Pat Graham, Associated Press. I guess when you put on tape of Caleb Williams, what stands out to him?
Everything. The kid is a playmaker, deserves the Heisman Trophy a year ago, which he secured. I love to see his personality on commercials and on pressers. He's the epitome of class and confidence in what he brings to the table. He makes plays. He makes that team go. He's a handful.
All right. That's what Coach Prime had to say about Caleb Williams, giving him a lot of respect. Flip side of that, I think Lincoln Riley, I caught a press conference with Lincoln Riley, who had some, I think he had some positive things to say about Colorado in the program. He said that he saw some similarities to what he went through when he took over USC and had to go use, and he used the transfer portal and what have you. And I think I want to go ahead and show you a press conference video from Lincoln Riley. And he had some positive things to say about the program. And Coach Prime had positive things to say about Lincoln Riley as a coach as well. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear this right now.
Similarities in the transformation here and what Coach has done at Colorado, then there's not. So, yeah, I mean, I see right where he's coming from. He's done a great job with the roster. And I think, another thing I've seen, just, I don't know him. I've never met him. But he seems to be, very genuine in his approach. And listen, everybody's different. Everybody's got different personalities. I think leadership, when you're fake and trying to be something you're not, I think people see right through that. And regardless of what your characteristics are of your personality, if you're yourself, you can be a great leader. And he certainly seems to do that, seems to be very genuine, and certainly his guys have responded to him.
You said a lot of positive things about you in the presser, I think, yesterday. Did you get a chance to see that, talk about kind of following the journey since Texas?
No, I didn't. We were kind of holed up here, but I'm looking forward to getting a chance to meet him and visit with him. Obviously he's one of the best players that's ever played our game, and so I think always have an important place in our game, no matter what. And so yeah, looking forward to getting a chance to chat with him and compete against him.
You mentioned some of those similarities in terms of transformation. how important is it to have a quarterback the way that he does and the way kind of that you have that relationship with Caleb that he's obviously has with Sure.
It's critical. I mean, you got, two coaches that came in with guys that they've obviously trusted and had experience with, and I don't think you can put a price tag on that from the team aspect and building the culture in the beginning, which is really, really tough. It's a lot harder than probably what people think on the outside. And then certainly offensively, we were able to get off to a decent start year one offensively, and they've been able obviously to do the same and play very well. And so, yeah, I think it's a key part. He was smart enough to bring his son along with him, and he's played at a high level.
Do you have to warn the guys at all about bulletin board material, the way they've kind of used that to their advantage?
Yeah, we just tried to, kind of going back to the genuine comment, we just tried to continue to be ourselves and keep our same approach. We haven't been focused on, opponents or any of the outside things. I mean, to each his own, and we've got to stay focused and try to, we got plenty of things that we got to get better at and be ready to handle that have to do with us. And if any of our focus is going anywhere else, and that's not the best thing for us.
They have a lot of speed, Coach. Thoughts on stopping the big play in this one, which was kind of a bane to you guys last game?
It's kind of what?
A bane.
Yeah, we got to do a good job of it, right? It's every week, right? College football, that's part of it. The way the game's played now, you got to try to limit those big plays, and that'll be very important. We, our defensively, we're fortunate because we get to see some pretty good skill guys offensively every day that we compete against, and we know this will be one of the more talented groups that we face in terms of opponents. So we'll have to do a great job.
All right, so you can see that Coach Lincoln Riley shows some respect towards Coach Prime. This game is going to be it's going to be tough. There's a lot that Colorado has to do to win this game, and the question is, can they do it effectively? And that's going to be the glaring issue, because they have shown these glaring weaknesses, and even in the games that they've won, and that these other teams are watching and they're going to exploit what's available to them. And I'm sure what they're going to do at USC, one of the things that they do, which is a strength of their team, is they've improved their running game. And I got to be honest about this. Their running game is one of the things that USC has always been known as a team that runs the ball, has great runners. And this is Colorado is going to have to be focused in this game. Okay, they got Marshawn Lloyd, who I want to show you right here. This guy is a guy, I had a chance to watch him on video. He can run inside, outside, very quick, sort of similar to the type of running style that you witnessed when they played against Oregon. Very quick, shifty, in and out of his runs and his breaks. So they're really gonna have to watch out for this guy. However, people are saying that when it comes to Caleb Williams, that he's the best overall player on this team. But outside of Caleb Williams, Lloyd, I gotta be honest, people feel that Lloyd is the best player, the best running back, maybe the best player overall on this football team outside of Caleb Williams. And so they're going to have to key on Lloyd, because this guy can do a little of everything. Then they're going to have to watch out for this young man right here, number 6, Austin Jones, who also can make plays, go inside, catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So USC has always been a team with a tradition of great running backs. What we need to do is match their effort with our running game. That's what I've been wanting to see. I've been wanting to see us match that effort with guys like Hankerson or Cavassier Smoke. Get my man Alton involved. Get Dylan involved. We all know what Dylan can do when given opportunity. Let me not forget about Savion Washington, who's a bigger back who can go run inside. So they're going to have to match the intensity of USC with their skill position players. There's just no doubt about this. Okay, no doubt about this. Now, another thing that we're going to have to watch out for, and this is why not having Travis Hunter out here playing, and I guess it's a maybe or if whether Shiloh's going to play because of his incident. I know they want to make sure health is the most important thing, but USC has a hell of a receiving core that they're going to have to deal with. In this case, let's go with Dorian Singer. This is Dorian Singer right here. He's one of their top of many of their receivers. He's a guy that can make a lot of plays, so they're going to have to be aware of him. Okay, the guy that's really dynamic on this team is Mario Williams. He's another key receiver. So you got number 15, which is Dorian Singer. We got this man right here, number 4, Mario Williams, that they need to keep themselves aware of where he is on the field. And then there's somebody else that is a big breakout right now, star, and this is the one and only Brendan Rice, who is the son of one of my favorite football players, played for my favorite football team, the 49ers, Jerry Rice. The backstory, let me give you the backstory on this kid right here. The backstory is that Brendan, if you already recognize this fact, or you don't recognize this fact, this young man, Brendan, originally was playing for Colorado. How do I know? Let's see the video, or not the video, but the still picture here. That's him right there running the ball. Now he's with USC. He transferred before Coach Prime got there to implement his program. He left and transferred to go to USC from Colorado, and that is the son of Jerry Rice. So I had a chance to watch him on video, and he's very shifty. He's a big surprise for them. And so what I'm saying is Colorado is going to have all they can handle against this USC team, and they're going to have to be poised against them. They're going to have to be poised. They're going to have to do everything they can to combat this team. Okay? I want you all to leave honest comments in the comment section of this video. Let me know how you really feel. I had to make this video really about the numbers, about the reality, and it's going to be a big, I believe that Colorado, if they put their running game together, but mainly not only the running game, but if they can put together the passing game, get that ball out of Shiloh Sanders' hands quickly down the field, crossing rights, intermediate passes, get the tight end involved, Michael Harris, get them all involved, get some running movement going with their running backs, and at least get Dylan Edwards out there in the flats. I think if they can do that, they'll be able to score with USC, put up points with USC, and exploit USC's secondary. The issue I have is the offensive line. Once again, will they hold up and give Shedeur the time that he needs to employ the tactics that are necessary to beat USC? How will they match up with how will their defense match up with these running backs who I just mentioned, when they have given up so many points off of the run, and their defensive front has had some issues consistently stopping the run? All those things concern me, but if they can fix it, then like we say, we believe that anything is possible for them to upset USC at home. I like their chances at home, playing in that high altitude as well. So let's all believe together that they can make something happen, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get out of here, I want to make sure that I didn't leave anything else unturned in the presentation. Oh, let me go ahead. I believe that I might have, Something else that I wanted to show you guys here. And the defensive line, I'm going to put this up here. The defensive players, I'm going to have to get at it. They're going to have to get at it and get pressure on Caleb Williams. It's going to be a difficult task. But I believe that they can do it if they're all playing together as a team. They play together as a team and not as individuals. And if they cut down, this is another thing. Way too many penalties the last few games. They've got to cut down on the penalties at a minimum. The offensive line has got to work as one heartbeat. It's going to be difficult, but they can do it. I just like their chances at Boulder a lot better if they were playing in Cal. It's at Southern Cal, because it would be much of a fringy crowd down there. So I think anything is possible if they follow the proper formula. They could beat this USC team. And I do believe it is possible, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to have to clean up a few things. Let's pray that, most importantly, that Shiloh Sanders is going to be okay. That this situation that he experienced going to the emergency room is not a serious enough to keep him out for the rest of the season, keep him out of this game. But either way, his health is always more important than anything else that we could imagine. Football is a great game, but health is more important. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Prime Sports Media. I'm your host. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell of notification if you have not. Share this video on all your social media and community tab if you're a content creator. I appreciate you. And let's see what happens this Saturday. Do you believe? Everybody take care.